Okay, sick. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to episode 3 of the MTV Fraudcast.
The
Um,
the fraudulence will not stop. It simply won't.
the fraudulence will not stop. Yeah, so we got Denny here, and then we've got a special guest, my boy Jeff. Jeff, introduce yourself to the crowd.
All right. Well, I reside in the Pacific Northwest, relatively near Corbin. Corbin and I met on a trail. We met at Raging River, a great trailhead in this area, and I asked him to watch my bike while I used the facility. So right from the beginning, like I trusted Corbin, like this is my bike. Like I let him watch it while I wasn't there. So
Yeah, he was riding
yeah,
a Specialized, I think, stump jumper, and there was no way I was going to steal that bike.
Yeah.
yeah, it was a really safe bike. I have to agree. So yeah, we've been riding together ever since. We did raging, and then we just talk mountain biking the whole way up the mountain, and then have fun all the way down the mountain.
Yeah, funny
So
story,
yeah,
actually. Jeff also officiated my wedding, so that's kind of a cool.
Really? You didn't
Yeah,
say this is the first I'm hearing of that. That's embarrassing. That's crazy. Oh,
yeah.
that's awesome.
We literally
Congrats.
met mountain biking, and we've had like a lot of just really good conversations, like going, yeah, just cool conversations. And
Nice.
so, yeah, my wife and I thought it'd be cool, and it was. He did great. Good job, Jeff.
Nice.
yeah, thank you. It was such an honor to be asked. I've never done anything like that before. It was cool. Like I'm ready to do it again if you need me to. You know what I'm saying? Like it
Yeah,
was
you're
fun.
sweet. Okay, so I do want to. Denny had a really good idea of bringing up a comment from the past episode. So, there's JoJo, the writer, 1977, had a cool comment. And he basically put a timestamp and said that's not a signal that there's no more Clean in 3 episodes, right? So if you haven't seen my channel, I've done a lot of Clean in 3 episodes, and that's just like I ride the same piece of track 3 times and try and get faster and cleaner and just better at it. There will be more of those as soon as this is back in action and I find time to do it. But then he said both of your comments at the end hits the head on the nail. I only put my stuff on YouTube so I can relive the moments later. They're perfect for throwing on the TV while I'm working on my bikes or waxing snowboards. Fun episode. So shout out to JoJo the Writer 1977. Definitely go, like, he also does YouTube. So if you want to go check him out, do that. Yeah, I thought that was cool because it was like literally what we were talking about. Like, just put yourself, go rewatch your rides, you know?
Yeah, so Jeff, do you use the old GoPro or the YouTubes at all or when you ride or
You know, if I don't have my GoPro on, I feel a bit naked. I record every single ride. And actually, to be honest, you guys, what I'm hoping is I can use your platform. I have 149 subscribers. I need 150, baby. So I'm hoping
one
to
more? You know what? I'm gonna do
one
it right
more.
now.
All right.
Wait, no way.
In
He's
my
done it. Success 150.
in my world, I've arrived. So yeah, no, I love doing it, and I do it like I listened to your podcast today actually, and that's exactly why I do it. Like I love to watch myself. I love to like send it to my friend who I biked with and say, "Hey, here you go." That's the joy of it. As soon as you start to like try to produce it, it starts to get not cool, not fun. Well, yeah, and going back to Jojo, he's commented on, he's a great guy. We've
Yep.
had conversations on social media as well. So that's totally cool.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, Jeff, you've been biking for I probably longer than both Denny and I. When did you start?
I started when I was 50, and my backstory is I coached baseball, like high school level baseball for a lot of years. My boys were playing through the system, and I did not want them to mountain bike. But my next door neighbor, across the street neighbor, was like getting them into mountain biking. And so I'm like, okay, no mountain biking during the baseball season. And so long story short, my son and I start gravel riding, and then we get steeper and deeper, and then I bike more than they do now.
That's
I
awesome.
started when I was 50. So, and I don't remember my age always, which is part of the deal, but I think I'm 57 if I can
Okay,
do the
so
math
roughly
right.
7 years. You've been biking for
Right.
roughly 7 years. Denny,
Yeah.
how long have you been biking?
So mountain biking, I've only been doing it for about, I'd say 2.5 years, but I did used to competitively race BMX when I was about 3 feet tall. So, realistically, maybe 3 years. I'll just round it up to 3 years. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty similar to me around 3 years. I think I'm at like 3.5. But so yeah, Jeff, you've been going for like seven years. You're past the 50 age marker and everything. So talk to me about when people are like, mountain biking is too dangerous. I don't want to get into it. I've got a wife, I've got kids, like but yet you do it.
Well, usually I'm trying to keep up with one of my kids, so that's the cool part. Um, I put it this way, my favorite meme is the one where there's these, an age appropriate activities where people are in the tea garden and drinking coffee. And then the one below it is this guy just biting it hard on a mountain bike, just just destroyed himself. And it's like, that's me, like, give me that. Um, so I will tell you that, to answer it more seriously, I think that you control your risk. So we're always pushing speed, we're always pushing air, and those are the two choices that you make.
Yeah, and and I think Denny was our first podcast. You came out and said you don't wear knee pads. Like,
So I have changed that, and now I do. Thankfully, because like I said, I paid the dirt tax a couple days ago, and had I not been wearing them, I'm not sure I would have much bone left there. So thank you for bullying me. Thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
I mean, we're going to go right there. That, like, this is a very unpopular opinion, but from my perspective, I want to stay on the bike, so I wear a lot of body armor. Corbin, I do. It's embarrassing, but I will go through the list. If I ride a blue trailer above, I wear like body, chest, and shoulder protection. I wear knee pads, elbow pads. Obviously, I have a full face. I actually wear a wrist guard to just take the pounding off my wrist, and ankle braces. I mean, I do the full meal deal, man. But I've learned over the years, like, it's all about keeping the pain away, right? Whether that's a fall, whether that's the constant pounding. And I want to keep riding bikes. So that's me. I'm at the other end of the spectrum, Denny.
Yeah, I'm curious what that is like. When you first started, was that what you were going with at first, or is that something you sort of just like adapted into? And you were like, was it at first you were like, let me put this full goalie pads on real quick, or was it, or then did you, or like you said when you started, it was like helmet, knee pads, whatever. Then you're like, you know what, no, I need a little bit more. Or was there an instance where you were like, no, gonna need a little bit more here?
For every injury that I've had, I have a new piece of armor.
Interesting.
Um, that's essentially, that's the deal. And again, it's like, for me, I buy comfortable stuff. It's comfortable, so I don't feel good without it. With it on, you start to get that, yeah, maybe this isn't good, but it's a feeling of invincibility, or a feeling of like, let's go. I feel really comfortable with it on. So
isn't
yeah,
it pretty expensive though? Like, I've had to replace a couple full face helmets, and those were like no joke amounts of money. And like some of the like knee pads and stuff, I don't know. I feel like gear just in general is pretty expensive. Like,
I mean, it's an expensive sport we're in. And to me, again, the end game here is to stay on the bike. So if I can buy a piece of armor, like, for the reason I wear body armor is because was at Leavenworth, and I'm going down this blue little trail off the mountain after the day is all done. I hit some sand and I about broke my rib. And I thought, okay. And so I bought body armor, and that body armor has saved me many times where I'll like land on my shoulder and just be like, not a big deal. So yeah, it's expensive, but it's worth it.
yeah,
Yeah, no.
didn't you have like a really bad crash at Snoqualmie last year? How did that what was that like for your body and mental and everything?
Yeah, I mean, we're going deep now. Yeah, so I was feeling great. It was like September. I'd been riding the bike park for like several months. I felt the best I'd felt all year. I sessioned, they had a new trail called My Little Friend. I sessioned it. There's a kind of, it's probably black, but to me, double black section that's really steep, really tucky. And I figured out the line. I did the pre-ride. It's go right and stay right, and then go shallow left. I did it the first time. Isaiah, my son, is like, let's do it again. I'm like, yeah, let's go. We do it again. And he goes right down the middle. And I kind of like, oh, I know I need to go. Oh, I'll be fine. And I just hit it. And I went head over heels. I landed on a rock on my back. It's the worst injury I've had. So it was a mental game to get back on that trail. I will tell you that.
Let me ask you this. So it's well, I'm sorry that that happened for one, but two, has when you tell people, like you said 57 years young, when you say that, like when you tell people or show people what you do they kind of give you like that kind of oh like kind of moment where they're like, oh you do that? Like how do you handle that? Like I'm interested. I'm just because like even me like in my at the age of 33, like I get that from people that I work with. Like
I love doing something that someone else is like, what are you doing? They can't even put their mind around it. And I'm a relentless at work. Like at work in the team chat, I'm like all the time, like mountain biking this, mountain biking, and they just flies over their head. They have no idea. I know the risk I'm taking. I know it's acceptable. I enjoy it actually.
so you said you started when you were 50, right? Do you have any regrets that you didn't get into it earlier?
Oh yeah, like when you see a kid ripping down, you're like, man, had I started when I was younger. I mean, I think for a lot of years I played basketball like hard. Like I'd get up twice a week at 5 o'clock in the morning and play basketball. And then I got into like smaller triathlon stuff like road biking, swimming, running type stuff, just like, quarter distance of an Ironman, not the big one. Um, and right now, like I asked my wife, I'm like, can I stop that road biker? Because I've like tens of thousands of road biking miles. I'm like, can I stop them and tell them that they're missing it? Like you can get the grind and you get the fun of the downhill. I mean, and my wife always says, no, I can't say anything to them, but I really want to.
Yeah, I mean, you're fit. Like, Jeff, you're very athletic, and it shows from the time, yeah, doing basketball, the triathlons and everything. Obviously, being fit in this sport is great. Now it's a little more accessible, even with like e-bikes and whatnot, that people can get out, go farther, go longer, have less like
Yep.
days off. Like I love e-bikes. I think they're phenomenal, but you don't have one.
No, I don't.
That's it. Why? Like, what's your thought process on e-bikes?
All right. So Corbin is setting me up, Denny, here because he knows we disagree on this and have differing viewpoints. So let me preface it so I make no one angry. One day I will have an e-bike. Um, right now, I'll just give you my whole thought process. And I respect there are a lot of great reasons to have an e-bike. But for me, for my health, like I want the grind. I want to summit that mountain with my own physical muscle bike power. I want to get there. And then there's this mental addiction thing that happens where you're like, I want that. And then you get the joy of the downhill and the physicalness, everything you do, you can feel it, right? Those two things combined together. And if you took one of those away and you just get the downhill, like, yeah, it's fun. But for me, again, from a health perspective, like all my metrics, like I did a lot of exercising before, but my blood work when I go to the doctor once a year, it's like great ever since I started mountain biking.
What do you think
Did
is
I
like the biggest day? Like, because I've climbed with you a lot, and we've consistently done 2,000 up to I think our biggest day was maybe right at 4, right? So like
That's
Jeff, what's your like average? What's an average climb? Like, what do you normally do?
I mean, Tiger Mountain, like I want to be comfortable with like 2,000, 2,200, 2,300. And then I did like close to 3,000 was like my big one this year. We decided for various reasons we didn't do the lollipop, the big one. We took a friend around and we ended up with about a 3,000 foot day. And that was a big day. Um, But yeah, I mean, and don't get me wrong, like Denny, I think you downhill park is what your deal. And like I've been 4 times since it's open. Like every time I can get there, I'm like totally disingenuous. I'm like, give me the lift access.
I get it. No, for sure, man. And I think this is sort of just something too, just maybe in general, like I love so much about mountain biking is that it's everybody gets out of it what they want. You know what I mean? I don't think I've ever, first of all, 5,000 feet is the highest point in New York State. Like that's just a fact. Like the fact that you guys are going 4,000 in a day is just like makes me want to vomit. Like I just it's just not what but like I that's not what I want. But like again, like for me, like just being out there and being active on the bike and even on an e-bike getting my pedal, like that's good enough for me. But like Jeff said, like it's awesome to get your fitness in and like earn your turn as the like the old school saying goes when it comes to that, which I do love that. I do love that perspective, but it's like there's like so many different points of view when it comes to like just mountain biking in general. And I do love it. Like you said, climbing 4,000 feet in a day is like enough to make me just like want to, I don't know, play pickleball or something. Like just starts like just switch over to
pickleball's
that.
sick. All right.
Don't go there, man. Don't go there. Well,
He's being a
you know,
fraud. All right, guys. He loves pickleball. That's his favorite pastime.
I've never played it. I've never played it. I won't knock it, but I've just simply never played it. So I won't
it
knock
is
it.
it is fun. Well, I think there's a turn here that so like you are spot on. There's different styles or approaches to mountain biking, but I think the end game here is that we all want to keep mountain biking. And so like my goal, and so let me be really careful to say this well, like my goal is to bike until I'm 85. That is my mindset. I don't know. I'll have to have good genetics. I'll have to have a lot of things go right, health wise, for me to be able to do that. So I don't know if I'll hit that goal, but that right now is my mindset, and so that's what I prepare my body for. And I have to keep up with Corbin. Like like I got to work hard for that.
I think I think right now you've surpassed me there, my dude.
Uh, yeah,
If you can get on the bike, you have kept up
Aw,
with me and gone beyond.
aw,
But
that's upsetting. Oh
we're
man.
making progress. We're getting
can't.
better.
I take no joy in it, Corbin. None.
So Jeff, let me ask you too. Do you ride with people of your age, or do you ride with people like more younger people? I know you said you were riding with your sons and stuff like that.
Probably younger people by far.
Okay.
And part of it is that there's not a ton of guys. I mean, there's a hardcore subset of guys my age doing it. And I have like some guys I bike with, yes, for sure my age. But part of my deal is that like that growth mindset, that progression mindset where, you know, I don't just want to like keep doing what I'm doing. Like I want to be a better mountain biker and like following my sons, following Corbin, following guys who are ripping. Like I can't keep up with them maybe, but they're always making me better. I'm seeing a line. I'm approaching a berm better. I'm so, you know, I guess the other way I could look at it is that I actually looked up the Tiger Mountain Cascadia Cup, the race that the series of races that Corbin got hurt in, the one that's at Tiger Mountain, and I looked at how many guys were in the age group 50 to 59 last year, and it was 17 guys. Guess how many at 60 plus?
3.
Zero.
Two.
Oh man.
So and I've a lot of guys now. I want to say this super carefully and very respectfully, because people have real issues. Like as you get older, like things aren't the same. But there's a mindset of people my age who they'll start to talk about themselves as being old, and I don't do that because I'm old, and they start to self-fulfill this self-talk that they're having. So I'm like, I don't refer to myself as old. Like honestly, I have to struggle to figure out my age. Um, like I want that growth mindset of like I want to go. I don't want to be like, oh, I can't do that. Kind of.
Yeah, which is also interesting because it's been super cool from my perspective to like literally watch your progression through the sport as we've become like friends and just biked. And I remember like EBAD, the first time we did EBAD and like how many sections. So EBAD is a trail at Tiger Mountain, but how many sections you ended up like walking. There was one you crashed on, and then I just like got texts throughout it, and then even like rode with you sometimes afterwards on that specific trail, and it was like, boom, I just got another feature. Boom, the last section I walked, I was able to do it this time, and it's like you are getting better. Even as you like get older, you're getting better. And I think that idea of just like longevity in mountain biking, which is like the whole kind of idea of this conversation, is like it's really important and it's cool. And I think it's healthy for the sport is yeah, we see a lot of like really young kids that are growing up on insane trails, like incredible legal trails with massive jump lines that weren't around 10 years ago on great equipment. And they're just getting like I don't know, they're really getting into it and getting really good. But then if we look at like the other side of the spectrum, like the older group, I do feel like people are kind of falling off and having that mindset of I don't want to get hurt, managing the risk is too much, I have too much to lose, my body's not doing it, and you're kind of finding ways to mitigate a lot of what some people might be saying about that, which I think is super cool, and I think a lot of people could relate to that and find I don't know find your kind of story and your progression encouraging.
Yeah, and we should not overstate any of this. Like I am like Denny, I watched your video today, and Corbin, you guys are like way better mountain bikers than me. But there's a toxic mindset where you get into where you compare yourself to other people. I actually watched a podcast on it, and they were talking about Yale students who were like they come in and they're comparing themselves to their peers, and like that's super toxic because then you begin to be negative, you push other people down versus trying to say, like I was doing it, like how many push-ups can a 50-year-old do? And I'm like, I can do more than that. And then, but that's toxic, right? It's how many push-ups can I do? And am I getting better at that? Because that other mindset doesn't get you anywhere. It's toxic.
That's kind of that's a really interesting way to think of it because I think especially too like being in being chronically online like we all are, especially people like me and Corbin where we're like we say we're putting our thoughts and everything out there. When like you said when you were riding with with a younger crowd, as you get older, as I'm getting into my mid-30s now, like that voice of self-preservation in your head becomes louder. And in a sport, and I've said this a million times, and Corbin, I know Corbin agrees with me, one of the best parts of mountain biking is being able to push through that voice to say, no, I can do that. Like, and then to stomp it, your brain says one thing, your gut says another, your heart says another thing. As you've gotten to the age you're at now, when you ride with some of these younger guys, how do you know like when it's okay for you to try something instead of keeping up with the Joneses, so to speak? Like, you know what, they're doing it, I should do it too. Or are you more comfortable saying, not today, I'll do it at my own pace? I'm curious. I'm very curious about that.
Yeah. So I mean, one of the first self-talks I have when I'm riding with someone better than me is like, I got to do me. Like I got to stay in my lane because it's like Corbin, like when you took me on some double blacks, like when I came to visit you, like I mean, you can see the video. He can send you the video. Well, actually, you can't probably. But,
You cannot.
um, you
Uh,
cannot. But I mean, we come to some stuff. I'm like, that is so far above my pay grade. It was like, it was almost above Corbin's pay grade. I have no qualms about just walking around it. And if I come up to something like you guys know the deal, like some days you feel it and you go. And then other days you just like, you know what? I'm not doing that. And that's a very important thought process. And um, another way to say it is the race we did, Corbin, it went against every preservation thing in me to say this is the wrong way to mountain bike.
yeah, so you probably had no issues literally not finishing and taking me to the hospital. So shout out to Jeff. If anyone like was
Yo, yeah,
curious,
for real. I said that last time, like props to you, man. There's a lot of people who wouldn't do that. So honestly, that's amazing. That's like my favorite part of riding bikes is the community aspect of it. Like stuff like that just makes me so happy when I hear it. I really do. So that deserves a lot of kudos and a lot of praise, man.
Yeah, well, no, like honestly, like that's you're my friend, Corbin. Like you were most important. Like who gives a rep? And I'd also decided, like, not too many props for me, you guys, because I had decided apart, like as I was doing that second leg, I'm like, this is crazy. What am I doing? I don't care about my time. I just want to get off this mountain safe. And you were like this great excuse to like not kill myself that day, Corbin. Like,
So this,
Well, my
so
pleasure, honestly.
so hold on a second. Jeff rigged this corner so you could fall, so he could get the hell out of there. Is what I'm getting from this.
The actual
That's
fraud, honestly.
the plot thickens.
the only thing I regret is that I wanted that like 3,200-foot day and I didn't get the last 1,000 feet of climb. That's the only part I really regretted.
And you got your shirt though. You were really excited about the shirt.
I barely take the shirt off.
That's awesome. That's so good. Oh man.
It was actually before we get into what the next topic. It was funny because we were talking about, like, Denny mentioned the voice inside your head, right? And I told you this while we were like on the break, whatever. The voice inside your head telling you like not to send something. I feel like that's one of your kids actually telling you that. So you like bike with two kids, and one of them is like, "Dad, don't do that," and then the other one is like, "I'll wait for him, see if he gets down, check out a line." And then you bike with me, and I'm like, "We're gonna do the unsanctioned double black trails that you've never seen. You ready?"
Yeah, Corbin has no conscience. He's just like, let's do this, like, double black that is like literally like just straight down, like in some of the rock rolls and stuff. But as we talked about, like it's a good perspective to have. Like each of those are a good perspective, but pushing yourself and doing stuff you can't do and you have to walk, that makes you better because then you do the stuff you can do and you're like, man, this seems easy compared to what Corbin just took me on. Like, holy cow. Yeah.
But we still want to do it safely, and we want to make sure we're within our limits. But I thought that was pretty funny. So
So let me ask a question here. I've actually wanted to ask this one the entire time, and I'm gonna maybe get a little heavy here, but it's actually something I'm a little curious about. Is so you mentioned before, like wanting to ride at the age of 85, like that's your goal, and you mentioned like you got to have good genetics and you got to stay in shape and all that stuff. One of my biggest fears, is not being able to continue this journey. I think that's just true for any type of life experience, anything. Like we all want to have like good long lives, but you said you're 57. My grandmother passed away at the age of 58, and my other grandfather passed away at the age of 62, 63. And like that's always something that's like kind of lingered in the back of my head, that like how do I make this go as long as I can? And for somebody like to somebody like me, like what would you say to somebody like me who's kind of like looks up to somebody like you that's like, wow, I really hope I can be doing what you're doing at your age. Like, and I mean that sincerely. Like I know we just met, but like I have seen you in Corbin's videos, and I didn't. I'd be honest with you. I thought you were a lot younger than the age you said you are, and that's not me just trying to be, a nice guy. But That's something that like has always lingered in the back of my mind. And so, what would you say to somebody like me? Because I can't be the only one who thinks that way.
Well, let me answer it philosophically first.
Sure.
I think the most important thing, because like mountain biking is so much fun. Like, let's face it, it's addictive. But
Hmm.
the real lesson I've learned is it can't be like the most important thing in my life, right? Like, my family, my faith, all those things that are core to me are the most important, right? So take mountain biking away and hey, we'll be okay. Corbin, you're doing it right now. Like you have important things in
I'll
your
be okay.
life.
You're right. It's fine. Everything's fine. I'm
Corbin's
fine.
fine. Ignore him. He's fine. He's great.
So having said that, I do want to keep, I think what I would say is that just do keep in the saddle, right? Like continuously be in the saddle. If I could do it again, I would at a much younger age, this is like bottom line, you guys, my glutes and my core I would have been working that. I could have avoided, like I had horrible low back sciatica pain, like really struggled for a couple of years with it. And if I could have started at your guys' age and like just got that, been disciplined and did that core stuff, that would have changed everything. Um, the other thing I think of is that, like, just this is like from the physical aspect, like the more muscle you put on as you get older, the more you enter into that, the better, because your muscle is like your real armor as you get older. And if you try and get to my age and you're trying, and I've put on some muscle, like I'm trying to, right? But if you do it right at your guys' age, you can walk into my age and just be like, let's go more. Um, the other reality is that, as happened to Corbin, we could all be off the bike tomorrow. Something bad could happen, and you could have done everything right and worked as hard as you could. And, bad things can happen, or your genetics just don't pan out for it. So, um, yeah, I mean, I think it's just like, let's enjoy what we have right now. Let's go for it and have that perspective. I don't know,
What would
did I
you,
miss your
no, I think that was good. What would you say to somebody who wants to get into the sport and um, they're not young?
it's expensive is the first thing I would tell them. Um, so I think, I mean, my sons did a great job with me, let's be honest. Like, they literally, to your point, Corbin, like they progressed me in mountain biking at a really great pace. So like you just need to start riding your bike around the neighborhood. Like literally, if you're not riding, just start riding your bike, then start gravel biking, and then look for like a green track, and then go, like we have a track where you can go the John Wayne Trail, where you can climb this bed all the way up to Snoqualmie Pass and go through a tunnel. Like do that. And then pretty soon you'll start to slowly progress into like, okay, I want to do this little steeper thing. Oh, now I need a dual suspension. Um, like just start doing the process. And like everyone thinks like you need to start like doing what we're all doing and what you guys are doing, but we just need to start by just jumping on your bike 3 times a week and getting out there. I
What's
don't know,
cool,
does that answer it?
yeah, because what's cool about that is like, that's what I've been telling my wife, right? So like Katie got into biking pretty much because of me. Um, and she's my age too, right? She's 30. And that's like my number one tip that I've given her that everyone else has given her is like you just need time on the bike to get comfortable. And it's cool to hear like that's kind of the main thing in the sport. It's just like you just have to do it. And that's like what 10,000 hours. I think there's some saying of like if you do something for 10,000 hours, then
An
you're not a
expert.
master at it. Yeah, but like you're more comfortable on it. So it's cool
You're a
that like
fraud.
at 10,000 hours you are a fraud on a bike. I am because like I can't whip still or wheelie or manual, but
Same. Can't do it. The hardest trick
Okay.
in mountain biking is to do a manual. I'll probably learn how to do a back flip before I do that.
at least the wheelie for sure. But it's
It's
cool that like you can doesn't matter what age, just get on a bike and ride it, and but for the most part you'll be okay.
I think it's funny too, like it's like what you said is you have to put time in on things, and I think in just in the society in like modern times that we live in, everything is sort of almost instant gratification. Like that's what you want. Like we're wired now where it's like, give me that dopamine, give it to me now. And I think it's just universal across the board, whether you're 65 or you're 5, like it doesn't matter. Like some people might be more, have more God-given ability than somebody else when it comes to, riding a bike. But like I kind of like I kind of put it towards like this way, like my channel's starting to really grow recently, and it's because I'm starting to hit bigger things. But there's been about 2 years of me riding around things and casing the crap out of these jumps before that I got to that point. And of course everybody wants to, be at the end goal, whatever, but I think it's a good point to say whether like you said, whether you're 65, whether you're 5, you need time on the bike, because no matter what it is, nobody, especially in mountain biking, is born on third base. Nobody is. It's just that simple.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like you're basically telling me that I'm not going to get better at wheelies by dreaming about them.
No, you
Just keep
will.
watching YouTube
Okay, cool.
videos.
Yeah.
Cool.
Have you run into anybody, Jeff, that's like a bit like closer to your age that's like, oh, I'd like to do that. I'd like to try that. Have you run into anybody at that point or at all? Or I'm curious.
You know, most of the guys my age are like have been doing it for years. Like the friends I have that do this, they've been
Mhm.
biking for years. So I would say not, they tend to be, 10, 20 years, 25 years younger than me. And like I love helping people get into mountain biking because like it is fun. It's just so fun. I just want to share.
A
Yeah,
a
we've all
really cool story that I just remembered, Denny, mainly because you kind of brought it up in a way.
right.
Um, Betty on the North Shore. Have you guys seen
She's like
that YouTube video?
70, right? She's 70.
I, I don't know if it says in the description.
Did
I
she
don't think
ride
so.
with did she ride with Remy? I feel like she rode with
Yeah,
Remy once.
But she's got
she
to.
did.
Yeah, there's a channel in Patagonia. I don't know if you've heard of it or not, but like they make some clothes and everything. They posted a video called North Shore Betty, You're Never Too Old to Send, Patagonia
Yeah,
Films,
yeah.
and she's cracked on a bike. Like she's sending it. Like she's doing stuff on the shore that I didn't do when I went there. And she is like older, and that's super cool. I don't know. Go check that video out if you haven't.
Yeah,
That one's
Remy
really
rode
cool.
with a guy. I think he got him to do some crazy gap in Squamish. And the guy I think was like 75 or something like that, or 70. It's crazy. I there's a guy at the local bike park that I ride with him and his son's 28. I was like, hey, can I ask you a question? Like your dad always comes with you. And like I know he doesn't like he takes some time in between laps, but he's crushing it on a Santa Cruz V10. I was like, "How old is your dad?" I'm curious. He goes, don't tell anybody I told you this." And I'm going to say it all over the internet. He's 79. I was like, "What?" And he looks great for his age, but you definitely tell he's like in his 70s. And he's like, "Yeah, for his 80th, we're going to Whistler." I'm like, "Oh my God, that's the dream, man." I'm like, "That's the dream." I'm like, "That's so cool." Like I wish, I hope, man. I really do. I really do. That's so cool to see.
I wonder what the bikes are going to be like when we get to
All,
that point.
they're going to be all electric. There's going to be, they'll probably go backwards. They'll probably just be all rigid for some reason. Like,
Like make it harder.
yeah, there's something. Oh, that's funny. But yeah. So Jeff, when you see guys like me and Corbin, and obviously, you know Corbin better, better than I do. You just met me, but what would you say to guys like us who want to get to where you are?
It's nothing glamorous, but it's just simply hard work. I mean, it's like I have a routine that I do. It's like, today was weight stretching core day. So it takes an hour, hour 15, and then tomorrow's cardio. I'm actually hoping to do EBAD and NOTG tomorrow.
Sick.
Um, See if I can convince Isaiah to do that. But it's just this routine that I have. I think the other thing I would say is that like you work hard, 2 to 3 days a week is core. The off season during the winter, it's a lot of like getting stronger, right? And then you kind of take that into the season, but you never stop that routine. The other thing I would say is that, and this is counterintuitive, but like take 1 day a week off. Like you need 1 day a week where you just recover. You're, physically, mentally, spiritually, you recover. And then that actually propels you into better things in the coming week. So I don't know. It's not very glamorous of an answer, Denny, but it's just keep doing your routine.
No, but I think it is the right one because I think that is something that I struggle with because I don't know how much Corbin told you about me, but I only really get to ride one, maybe 2 days a week because of my job. I'm a train conductor, so I'm working a pretty strenuous job. So it's like I do slack on the gym and stuff like that. And it's kind of like this is a bit, and I'm glad this is kind of coming to now because this is a bit eye-opening because it is something that I would like to incorporate more because it does seem like it will help me out long term, especially down the road. So I am glad that I am hearing this from a neutral source and not just the thoughts in my head telling me to go get in the gym.
You know what I need to do with that is stretching. Like Jeff, the
Yes.
the when you were over for race before. You and Nate both were doing like a whole stretching routine. Bro, I cannot remember the last time I stretched before or after a ride. Um,
You
but
don't
that's like,
stretch before rides?
no, I don't. And
What?
my flexibility is
He
so
doesn't.
bad. But
That's insane.
I show up and I start pedaling, and the first like, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes of pedaling is awful. But then I always like tell my legs like, okay, this is what you're gonna be doing. And then the legs are like, all right, we're doing this. And then it just I get into a rhythm and it's okay. But stretching is like, what's the benefit of being flexible? And it's really if you crash, I feel like if you're more flexible, it's going to help in a potential crash situation when things aren't so stiff and you can literally bend a little bit more. We talked about that a lot in basketball growing up of like stretching your ankles and everything to make sure you don't get, I don't know, you don't sprain your ankle, Achilles, whatever, all that stuff. But
Mhm.
I feel like of anything, I won't go to the gym. I cannot do that. I'm not a gym guy, but I can spend 20 minutes a day stretching something, doing some wall sits, some squats, like that's good. You know,
I was legit gonna say that exactly. Just start by stretching. Like just get your hamstrings in order. You know what I mean? Get your quads stretched out. And then, you know, the other thing, I'll tell you what drives me, you guys, it's driven me for like decades now, is I learned that when you're 25 years old, you're max VO2. Like you're the most you will ever have. And every year that you don't keep your ceiling up there, you lose a couple of percentage points and you can never recover that. So I learned that in my like early 30s and I was like, okay, game on. Like I'm going to keep my level up there as high as I can. And that motivates me because you don't feel like doing it, right? Like about 4 days a week, you don't feel like doing it. But yeah, break it down to your point, Corbin. Like I like literally just start stretching and then start incorporating. I have like if you talk to I talked to a PT and asked him this longevity question, a friend who's a PT, and the two things he said balance and then stability, meaning like the front of your leg, the back of your leg, the left of the leg, so that ability to stabilize the joint so that it can go every direction and be strong. Because usually we're strong in our quads, but weak in our hamstrings, for example, right? You got to flip that. So I don't
Mhm.
know, just stuff like that.
that's hard because I feel like stability and balance are like the same thing. Like in my brain, those words are almost interchangeable. Like if you have good balance, you're like stable. But I guess that's not true because like you could get knocked over. I don't know that, but to me, I got to figure out the difference there.
Yeah,
That's definitely
they're in.
something that's definitely something I struggle with too, especially with the scoliosis, because it's a lot of the times after the ride, like my upper body and neck are all just like out of whack. So I definitely understand where you're coming from on that one. So something I got to work on. I've always told myself I'm going to do yoga and I just don't. But at least I stretch before I ride. At least I got that going for
Okay, so Danny,
me.
I convinced you to get some knee pads, and
Okay.
maybe now you guys are convincing me to stretch. I did tell my wife one of my goals, like before I could come back to the bike, is to at least be able to touch my toes. Like, the classic, like just bend down and touch the toes with the straight legs.
Yeah.
That maybe I should re up that goal and actually try to hit it.
All right. So I don't know how
Well,
much time we have left here. I think we're probably getting closer to the end, but I just want to, Jeff, I want to ask because it's been awesome getting to know you, and I hope, like Corbin, one day I get to actually go on a ride with you guys. What are your goals for the rest of the year? What are your goals going forward? What do you got on the plate? What's on the agenda going forward for you?
ride as much as I legitimately can and value my family.
Nice.
Um, like tomorrow, I want to, like, I was thinking of this before this podcast that I wanted to hit eBad because I've never really truly cleaned it. I've sort of cleaned it, but I feel like, hey, I think maybe I've progressed. So I don't have like this the big one I had is I wanted to do My Little Friend this year. And on the 4th of July, Isaiah was like, we were at the park. He's like, we need to do it. I'm like, I don't want to do it. He's like, just go do it. I'm like, I'm not there yet. I want to be like ready. He's like, just go do it. I'm like, okay, I'll just go do it. And I bumbled down it. I took like 5 times, like up to the edge, like, oh, I can't do it. And then I finally like forced my brain to get over that edge and like put my foot down but I did it, right? So I want to progress. I want to be able to do that trail. I don't have like a clear set, like written out goal, but I want to get better, you know?
Well, one of the goals was doing Predator at Tiger Mountain as well. The infamous like double black flow tech trail.
Yeah.
Being able to clean that. But we've always talked about like before, at least for me, before I was comfortable like taking you up there, it was EBAD. It's like get a top to bottom rundown EBAD where you come up to every feature and you're good. Like you look at it and you say, yes, I have this, and you can get down it. Maybe a dab or two here or there, but I feel like that's always kind of been something that we've been working towards the past couple of years too.
Yeah, and thank you for mentoring me in that. I mean, that's awesome. Like, you putting that thought in my head is awesome, right? Because like I'm scared to do predator. Like I've done lower predator, but upper predator is well named, right? It will eat you up. So yeah.
And then to bike when you're 85 or stop biking when you're 85, what was the long-term goal?
Well, when I get to 85, I'll kind of reassess at that point. But but again, like I probably shouldn't even said that out loud, you guys, because like my biking career could be over tomorrow. It's just that's my mindset, like I got to try and be better as good as I can each day. So yeah.
I'm curious too. You mentioned mentorship, like you said, thanks for, Corbin, whatever, for mentoring you. Do you find yourself being that? I know, like, when I ride with, my right hand man, my best riding buddy is Andre. He's 10 years my junior, and he's just as good, if not a better rider than me. But I feel like he comes to me for like a lot of life advice and stuff. Do you find yourself doing that with some of the younger guys you ride with? Do you find like the de facto like big brother father figure, and if so, like is that important to you? Because I think that's almost just as important as, yeah, sure, I might not be able to tell you, tow you off this drop, but hey, I can tell you, I can help you with this problem you're having in life. Does that come up with you a lot? Because I'm curious.
Yeah, I mean, Corbin and I were perfect. I mean, we just you talk mountain biking and life the entire way up the mountain. Like that's why it's such a great sport, right? Like you create such great friendships, and it's like I guess to put it this way, I always used to think as you got older, you would get more mature, but the reality is you get lazier and it gets harder to be more mature. So there's this iron versus iron thing going on. Like there's lots of ways that Corbin is helping me be better. And then I hope vice versa, right? Like we're working through this together. Um, I do have to say, like for the first time, I've been like taking like a lot of people who are newer mountain bikers to different spots. And I'm starting like, because I was a baseball coach for a lot of years. Like
Mhm.
I love to coach. That's in my DNA. And I find myself, I'm like, okay, I actually know what I'm talking about. I think about mountain biking, like, chin over the stem and, like balance and, stuff like that. So I love doing that kind of stuff, but it's mutual.
And I can fully attest to that. Like it's been so cool to, and I've been like so blessed to like meet Jeff. And there is an age gap. Like I'm way closer in age to like Isaiah and Ezra, like your sons, right? But we have like a closer friendship. And that's like going on rides and talking about like marriage before like I got married and what that looks like, what that entails, what's the, I don't know, like the life things around that, which is also just like such a cool thing about being out in the woods is like, yes, we're there to enjoy, the 10 minutes of downhill, but we do have this whole grind beforehand of like the climb. And the climb is so much better when you have people to like talk about real things with. And yeah, it's fun to like just joke around with friends and everything, but it's also just it's such a peaceful time to talk about some real stuff. And so that's also been a super cool thing with like my friendship with Jeff is just he's literally counseled me in stuff outside of life. And that's a big reason why Katie and I asked you to like officiate our wedding, right? It's like, yeah, sure, I may be
Yeah.
the better mountain biker, but you've got so much experience in life that you can help me be like a better person. So it definitely does, yeah, go both ways, which is cool.
Well, again, that was such a great honor, and I think the reality is that and you see this across mountain biking, like we are just all broken. You know what I'm saying? And like being up in the mountains, like there were times that in my life where I was like, we were taking care of my dad through his last stages of life and stuff like that, where just being up on the mountain and just having the catharsis of just that headspace of being like, getting into the flow state when you're down and just being out in nature, it is so healing. And so to just even that part of it is huge, much less adding like great friends around you. So yeah,
Yeah,
we're getting
there's
deep, you guys.
no, but that's why I always say that like this sport it's not just that. Like, there's a video and I wish I knew who did it. It's a from an interview. It's one of the original like kind of founders of modern MTB. And he said when they first started mountain biking, I'm sure you guys have seen it. He's like, we couldn't figure out why it was so good and why we liked it so much. But it's when you're out there and you're riding, whether you're climbing or whether you're going downhill, it's the only thing you can think about for X amount of time is that where's that front wheel going? And everything else is just gone. And it's true. And it very much is true. And it's, with I know Corbin has the group of guys out there and I have a big group of guys that I ride with too. And it's like some are a lot older that I go to, I feel comfortable for, advice, and a lot of them come to me, and I like being the big brother figure, and I think that that's awesome. Like it's a community aspect, and that's like kind of why I've almost started to shy away from wanting to race, because I've kind of realized it's not really what I want out of this sport. It's like, sure, I want to prove to myself I can do it, but I'd much, like you said, much rather be on I won't say climb, I'll say chairlift, because listen, like that's realistically where I am. I could say climb, but I don't feel like lying to the ladies and gentlemen out
You
there.
fraud.
Yeah, of course, dude. Biggest fraud right here. But no, but like having conversations, it is funny because it's like I sort of remember being, the guy who looked up to people, and now I'm the guy that people look up to me. And it's very interesting. And it's something that I don't take for granted, because I think being in that position, I'm sure Jeff will, is, having two sons, like it's a privilege to be in that position, and I don't take it for granted. I really don't. So
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, if I were to bottom line it, I mean, age doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, it matters in high school when everyone's like, high school's horrible. Like, I'm a junior, you're a senior. But like, when you get out into real world, like, age is just really irrelevant. We're just having a great time with good friends.
Heck yeah. So yeah, thanks everyone for tuning into episode 3. Yeah, go check out Jeff's channel. I think it's at Sharing the Shred. Go check out Denny's, at Denny Genetti, and then obviously we're on my channel. But put a comment next episode. Not sure what we're going to talk about. Not sure when it'll come out, but like put a comment. We'll like read it and everything. So, but anyway, thanks Jeff for coming. Denny, as
Yeah.
always, the fraudulence is here.
go be fraudulent out in the world, folks.
All right,
All right.
everybody.
Thanks for having me, guys.
No problem.